Welcome to New York Brothers Broadcast. We are back with some good news, actually. Started off nice now. Look, how you doing, Kenny, first of all?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And it's been a while since we last made an episode, so it's nice to get back
5 months ago.
doing this. It's been that long?
I looked it
Damn.
up. Exactly, yeah. Last time, actually, I was gonna save it for the next episode. Last time we did it, Judge hit the home run. It's with
Wow.
Jose. So it's been 5 months. But the good news is that it's been a good 5 months. It's been an up and down, but it's been a good 5 months. Can you believe where we are though?
I can't. I mean, I remember us talking about in the beginning of the season, we were like, this team is gonna be somewhere from like maybe 8 seed if we're lucky,
If we're lucky,
all the
yeah.
way till 12. And now we're six, I believe.
I think if we looked at projections, I had him 10th.
Yeah.
We have it recorded. I should have looked back and looked for it. I think I had him 10th, either ninth or 10th. And I was
Yeah.
worried about the Wizards back then. I was like, are they gonna take 10th? But yeah,
Yeah,
man,
we're
it's
we're six right now. We're technically tied with the Nets.
correct. Things like 2 games less in the loss column.
Yeah. One game less in the loss column, but we have a game up on the win
Here.
column.
Let me see here.
So
Share my screen. I have it saved because I wanted to talk a
tell
little
you
bit.
what though, the Nets with all the stuff that they've been going through, Bridges has been balling out.
Yes, he has. Can you see my screen?
I see your mouse, but it's black.
No, 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 let me stop. Yeah, there's 6. Let me stop sharing. There you go. So what do you think has led to this success? Tell me about it.
I would say the major focal point would be Brunson. We have a definitely a point guard that can control the tempo, pretty much put the guys where, they need to be and really bring out the strengths in everybody. Um, but I'm also going to give credit to Tibbs, and I was a big supporter of get rid of Tibbs.
Me too. And
Um,
Randall.
um, Tibbs has definitely changed his offensive mind. I guess there's somebody in that coaching staff that has been, telling him like, listen, we got to do things differently. Defensively, you're great. You don't have to change there. But offensively, he was pulling guys out. I mean, he's letting these guys play. He's letting Quickly play. He's letting Grimes play. He's letting them close out games. You know, they're not necessarily scoring, but they're doing a lot of little things that I would say in previous games or last season, we're all questioning like why is he pulling them out if they're like hot, they're scoring and stuff like that, and then he will pull them out like the last 4 minutes of the game. And it didn't make sense. And we would lose games like that. Uh, so I definitely gotta give credit to those two guys. Uh, and Randall's balling out like he was balling out back in 2020. The only thing I don't like about Randall, I'll give him all the props and everything, is that when he is cold, he becomes like a toddler and shuts down.
Yeah.
And he just like gives up, doesn't run back, doesn't play defense, doesn't do anything. So somebody needs to get in his head. And I've noticed that that's more when Brunson is not on the field, because at least Brunson can talk to him and be like, yo, just keep going. Um, Brunson once again, that leadership. But yeah, he needs to be okay with, hey, not every game you're gonna have it, but you gotta go and do the little things. And that's gonna be big on the playoffs because not every game he's gonna be good, you know. So, you gotta be able to do the little things. You gotta be, you know, look for the open man when they double you. He's gotta learn to do that better. I've noticed that he's been turning over the ball a lot. Every time he puts his back to the basket, a second guy comes over and he starts losing the ball, loses control. So got to be better on that. What do you think?
So I agree with everything you said. Yeah. Uh Little Brunson has kept Randall in check. and I love that. You know, IQ has really stepped up, but without Brunson, we would not be where we are. And shout outs to, I would say this year has been carried by Randall, Brunson, and IQ mostly. I'm gonna call them the usuals all night, and they've done their thing. They've scored, they've passed, and you know they've carried us the whole way. You know, um, let me ask you something, because at the beginning we were playing pretty much 500 ball, maybe a game under 500. Where do you think was the turning point? I'll give you my opinion when after you talk, and then maybe it'll be the same. But what do you think changed it? When or where? Something. Give me something.
I would say when we traded for Josh Hart, that was at least in my opinion, that was definitely the turning point. He just, you know, Josh Hart, he's not a scorer, he's not going to get you 20 plus points,
He
but he
can,
just
but he's
he
not.
can, right?
Yeah,
He'll do a night here and there, but
correct.
um, you know, he just brings a lot of heart and motivation to that team, especially off the bench. I mean, the kid defensively is amazing for just being what, 6'4", 6'5" too.
Yeah.
Um, and he just gets everybody like pumped up, gets everybody playing. I mean, I think we went on a what, 9-game winning streak since we traded for him.
Yeah, something like 8 or 9, I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
9. You're right. Because then we lost to the Hornets.
Yeah, I know. Couldn't believe that. We're up to like 20, 30 points at one
No
point.
Brunson.
Yeah. And you know, I would definitely say that was a turning point.
Okay. I agree
It
with you.
was
That's a good one. My turning point, I'm gonna say when Thibodeau went to the 9-man rotation. When Thibodeau went to the 9-man rotation, it's just like everybody knew what their assignment was. People who knew that weren't gonna play already, like Fournier, Rose, they understood. They became veterans. They understood that the bench was theirs, you know. But then the top 9 guys, McBride was in it back then, and they all did their roles. They all knew what they had to do. They all knew how many minutes they're going to play, and it became more of a settled bench and a settled lineup, and it helped Thibodeau. Like you said, I agree with you. Somewhere, something he changed, and maybe his coaching staff, who knows? But maybe he was scared that he was going to get fired, because I think everybody thought he was going to get fired at one point, and even probably himself. And then he made some changes. He listened, made some changes. His rotation is mostly young kids, 28 and under. Randall being the grandpa in the rotation. I think he could be third all NBA Randall this year. I really do think so. Again, I was ready to trade him for a bag of chips, man. Oof, I would have been the worst GM in history. Thank
yeah.
God that didn't happen. If we were both GMs, Kenny, we would have been fired, I think. I was ready to I was contemplating giving up a pick. But I was like, you know what? I don't like to give up picks. And so I was like, all right, let's keep him. Maybe he'll, closer to expiring contract, he'll have more value. But boy, was I wrong. So that was my turning point. Um, Tell me about the people not named Randall, Brunson, and IQ. I know you mentioned Jason Hart, which is great. And I like that you said he does like, all the little things. He does the winning plays. That's my favorite word. That's what Jonathan Macri calls it. He does the little things, winning plays, like offensive rebounds, the last pass, pushes the tempo, exactly like you mentioned. What about, I guess, as you mentioned Jason Hart, don't mention him again. What about the other players that have helped in this 9-man rotation that have helped the Knicks win? Who stands out to you?
So I guess I'll start off with RJ Barrett. I mean, he's been disappointing this season. Very disappointing. And it's not just offensively, but defensively. I mean, he gets beat. Any man that, I mean, he could be like the slowest guy. He can play he can play PJ Tucker, and PJ Tucker somehow still beats him to the freaking rim. It's ridiculous. I don't
Oh,
understand what happened
I
to
hope
him.
he's hearing this one day.
Yeah, it's just um and I'm hoping that it's just, what is it, his third year in the league or fourth year?
Fourth year.
Fourth year in the league. I'm hoping
Eight-
it's just,
18 years old. Fourth year. 18, 19, 20. Though. Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping that he turns that around, but and I think he will because, last night's game with the Lakers, not last night, the day before, um, he balled out. I think he got like 25 or 30 points around there. Um, Something around there.
Yes. No, like that.
Um, And he showed that like, hey, like listen, man, I can step up when I want to. Defensively, he still needs to shape up. I don't understand because last year defensively, he was pretty good. He was a
Yeah.
solid guy. I don't know. It's like his confidence just went down all of a
And
sudden.
the year before that too.
Um, I gotta give props to Hartenstein. He's playing back like how he was playing in the beginning of the season. I mean, once again, doing the little things, getting the rebounds, hustling, you know, not necessarily going to fill up the stat sheet, but just, switching, or covering the guys. I think he did a great job with Anthony Davis. There was one play that he got beat, but, for the most part, they kept him in check, him and Robinson. Robinson's another guy that, man, he needs to stay healthy because with him on the court, we're a whole different team. It's defensively, he's just amazing. And
He should
even
get some
offensively,
votes.
like
He
he
should get some
can,
votes.
yeah, even offensively, he can, you know, pick and roll and things like that. So he's big. Um, and then Grimes has been great. I mean, that guy has such a nice shot. It's beautiful every time he lets go of the ball. And defensively, I mean, Tibbs has been pulling out RJ to put Grimes in
Mhm.
for defensive like last 2 minutes and stuff like that. So that's huge. And hopefully he takes another step next year. But I would say those are the main standout guys. And I gotta give a shout out to McBride. Against the Lakers, man. That kid played really nice.
I
And
heard about that. I didn't watch it. I heard
yeah,
everybody's
and
talking about it.
you know what? I like Jeff Van Gundy gave him props. Um, and sometimes I feel like Jeff Van Gundy could be a Nick hater.
Me too.
Um,
Resentful.
yeah. And he was
We
giving
love you, Van
McBride
Gundy. We
props.
love you.
And one thing that he said that I really like, stuck with me was that McBride, he seems like one of those players that he's not disappointed for the lack of minutes that he gets. Whatever minutes he gets, he's going to try to make the best of it. And that's what he did with the Lakers, right? He freaking balled out and made a couple threes that I was happy with. It was nice.
Yeah, he's a good third point guard off the bench. He's like I like to say what you said once. If we make a trade and we lose, for example, IQ, he can step up and be that position. Maybe he's not ready this year. I don't think he's ready this year, but hopefully by next year, the year after that, he can do that move. That being said, I do not want to trade IQ. Please, fans, do not confuse my words. I in no way. I love this point guard tandem between Brunson and IQ. I think McBride can become like a third guard, off the bench, something like that for depth. I like him a lot too, man. I'm sorry, McBride. McBride can be like a third guard off the bench. I love McBride. You're right. We got to give him props because right now he's out of the rotation because of Jason Hart. But I understand. We needed somebody to show him he still needs a little bit like Sims. They still need a little bit more. I think Grimes also could take another step next year. If Barrett goes back to being a good defensive player, that'll really help. There's only room for growth in this team, man. It's crazy to say that this team is so young and so good. Do you know where we are in the league right now in terms of 1 through 30 record wise?
What do you mean? Like,
Where we placed in like we don't like we'd be one if we had the best record too. So we're ninth right now,
really?
ninth, and eighth is the Nets. So we could potentially be an eighth team. Now, I don't want you to think that, oh my God, maybe 10th is right behind us. It's not. I mean, we have 40 wins. If you look at the other teams, they got 37 wins. I think the next team after us, and that's Phoenix Suns, who is not going to have Durant this year at the end of the year, and Miami Heat, who we're clearly, I think we're better than them. So we clearly, I think to us, we're a top 8 team in the NBA, potentially could be. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy to say, man? It's
it is.
a good year, man. Good year. So where are we finishing? Where are we finishing the East?
I think we're finishing fifth.
Okay.
I think we'll be above the Nets. I think it'll be kind of sad if we don't finish above the Nets. I mean, don't get me wrong, no hate to the Nets. Like I said, they're balling out without KD and Kyrie. I think that was the best move that they could have done. Um, They got some picks back. They have a lot of great players. Um, so they can make something happen. But yeah, I would say fifth. I don't think we can catch up Cavaliers unless they start really losing, unfortunately. I thought at one point we were going to be able to catch up with them. We were like, I think like a half game behind at one point.
Yeah,
Now
we
we're
were
three
close.
three games behind. So those three games, losing to the Hornets, Clippers. Who else did we lose to?
Kings are a good team.
Kings. Yeah.
Kings are a good team. That's
Yeah,
it's
shout
a
out to them.
yeah interesting point though that Kings are third right now, and even though we have more losses than them, we have the same amount of wins. So if we were in the West, could we potentially be a top three team? Isn't that crazy to just think that
Yeah,
concept could be true? I mean,
we'd
that's
be like fourth.
yeah. Right now we'd be fourth. Yeah, you're right. If I were, yeah, over the Suns, we would
That's
have
great.
home court.
I
Man,
also want to say one other thing. Shout out to the Mavs. Uh, I, I gotta give Leon Rose props because he did the right trade with Josh Hart and giving up the Knicks pick. He bet on the team, He said like, no, my team is gonna do better than the Mavs, and so far,
I don't know if that's true. I think Leon Rose gave the Blazers a choice of the Mavs picks and the Knicks. The
oh
Mavs have just traded for Kyrie, and I think everybody thought Mavs, Kyrie, Knicks are the Knicks. Let's get the Knicks pick, right? And it was Knicks lottery protected and Mavs top 10 protected. They still chose the Knicks lottery protected. And that's crazy to think that they made the wrong decision. Right now, I think the Mavs are 15th. We're
yeah.
about to get a top 15th pick.
I'm gonna share my screen really quick because I saw this meme online and I thought it was pretty funny. I actually try to make it as my background, but
My boy, my boy Joe says you guys gotta love Kyrie. He destroyed the Nets and now he's destroying the Mavs, and you guys have their picks. I'm
oh,
like,
I can't share, but
yeah, mine wasn't
the
sharing that much either. I was trying
it's
for
it's a picture of Doncic going like this,
Oh,
and
I
then
saw it.
on top, yeah, so could have signed Jalen Brunson for a reasonable
Yes, I saw
contract
it
during
today.
last season. What a
I saw it
mistake.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
To think they could have kept their picks, have Brunson, have Porzingis, but instead they have this. I mean, I feel bad for them. We're not here to trash the Mavs, man. I like Mark Cuban. Um, I do not want them to do good because we have their picks this year. After that, I'm starting to feel bad for them because if Kyrie walks on them, that's just only going to destroy that franchise for the next 3 to 5 years. Especially since they gave up a pick. They gave up a pick to the Knicks, gave up a pick to now to the Brooklyn. It's and Kyrie's that crazy. He might walk on them, and I'm starting to feel bad for them, man. I'm starting to feel
I,
bad for them.
I think what we're seeing with the Mavs is kind of a burnout for Doncic. I mean, the guy has been carrying that team
Yeah.
all season, and eventually that takes a toll on your body. We have one thing that I forgot what game I think it was against the Celtics. I think it was Richard Jefferson who was the announcer that
Mhm.
night. And one thing that I noticed or that he said that was important is he was saying that a lot more coaches are starting to play their players a lot more because they've noticed that these guys are getting like tired from the playoffs because they're not used to playing 40 minutes and things like that. So in a way, Tibbs is doing the right job by letting Randall, letting Brunson, letting Hart, all these guys play, like 40 minutes a game, to build that stamina, so when it comes to playoff time, they're not getting like all tired and stuff. But this guy, uh, Doncic, man, this guy has played some games like every minute of the game hasn't sat down, to try to just win a game and can't do that.
He needs help. He needs help. They need defense. They need besides Curry. I mean, and I guess Christian Wood, who might walk on them this year too. They need some more offense too. It's I mean, it's been bad managing by that team, but we're not here for them. We are here for their pick, but we're not here for them. But it's only good news for us this year so far. I love it. It's been I mean, if I can replicate it again, I would. I think potentially next year could be a 50-win team, but we'll talk about the offseason. During the offseason, um, I had the schedule here, but I don't think my screen is sharing correctly. But I'll just say it out loud. The next three games are the Blazers in Portland, the Nuggets, which is a tough one in New York. At least we're home, even though they lost to Brooklyn. We better win that game. Minnesota at home too, and then Miami Heat. We have 12 games left. I would say um I would say 50% chance that we can win at least half. More than we should win at least half, more than that, based on the schedule. I don't know if you're looking at it too.
I
Based
am.
on,
So Blazers, I know that Lillard and Grant are questionable, so hopefully they don't play.
hopefully, because
Um,
I want to see them blow them out and play some McBride minutes and some Hart minutes, and
yeah.
you know,
Um, I'm gonna say we'll take the L against the Nuggets.
okay.
We should win against the T-Wolves. The
If the
Heat
team,
is gonna, yeah, the Heat is gonna be tough.
it might split it.
Um,
You have two games against them. We might split it.
yeah, but
They're gonna
hopefully
come
we could
back with a
take both.
vengeance.
Yeah, they
They're gonna
are.
come back with a vengeance. They're upset. Jimmy Butler's
Um,
been he got ejected the other he walked off the court the other day against I forgot who it was. He just walked off with like 30 seconds left. The game with T. He didn't care. That's not like his attitude. I don't know if you read the little rumor going around. Spoelstra's concerned that Jimmy Butler is gonna want out in the offseason.
no,
Should we
I did
call
not
them?
know
Should we call them?
that.
If I'm
You
the
know,
Miami Heat and the Knicks offer me RJ Barrett, I'm doing it. If I'm the New York Knicks, do you offer RJ Barrett?
is it just RJ Barrett?
I mean, you have to throw Fournier because of the money. Because this guy makes like 40 million. Barrett makes about 28, 27. So Fournier is nothing though, but you have to throw in Fournier. But it would just be RJ Barrett. I mean, I think the Miami Heat, RJ Barrett for Butler is pretty much you're saying, yo, we're gonna retool, not rebuild, retool with Hero and Barrett and
Yeah,
Bam. And I think that's a nice tandem if they were to do that. I don't know if I'm the Knicks if I'm interested in that because of how old he is and how much money he makes. I think you'd be selling Barrett too low too fast. I think there's a lot more there, man. We got to be patient. I mean, I was doing a lot of research and guys like Jalen Brown, Brandon Ingram, who else? Jimmy Butler himself, uh, even Kawhi. They took time. They took around 23, 24 years old to make it to the next step. I'm not saying in any way Barrett's going to get there, but I don't think he's reached his ceiling. And I wouldn't
I
mind,
agree.
I wouldn't mind
Um,
waiting. I wouldn't mind waiting, man. It's
I
like
think his shot is going to develop a little bit better. I don't think he's ever going to be a lethal 3-point shooter,
you're right.
but I think he can be like a Jalen Brown, maybe a step below Jalen Brown.
Yeah, I agree. Because
That's
Jalen Brown's good
that's
defensively.
yeah. And I think Jalen Brown's like 6'8" too. Might be 6'7", 6'8", and RJ's like 6'6", 6'7".
Jalen Brown's
Um,
6'6".
6'6", really?
Yeah.
Um, so I think he could be like I think that's his ceiling, like a Jalen Brown, which that'd be freaking
Phenomenal.
fantastic. Yeah. Um, and that's exactly what we need, like a 3-and-D type wing. You know, you don't have to be the go-to man, but just defensively, you're the lockdown guy, and when you're open for that three, you better make it,
Yeah.
or close to making it. But yeah, I'm just hoping this offseason, you know, with more time with Brunson, more time with Hart, we got to re-sign Hart and we got to re-sign quickly. So those are two things that are going to be big. Um,
Extend quickly. Yeah.
yeah,
I said to
maybe
you,
we can give Toppin in the first
don't go crazy.
for
Don't be saying Onobi or Mikael Bridges, bro. They're gonna spit in our faces for that kind of offer.
no, I was gonna say Jimmy Butler.
No, they're
That
gonna want
contract hurts, man.
yeah contract 50 million in 2-3 years, and he's not a great 3-point shooter. I mean, he would make us better for next year. It'll put us in the top five, but it'd be weird to see Barrett turn into a 25-point scorer, good defender for the next 6-7 years. I don't think Leon Rose is smart. I don't think Leon Rose will make that move either. And he knows Jimmy Butler's the man. I think he tried to make a deal with them without giving up Jimmy Butler. I mean, giving up RJ Barrett. But we'll talk about the offseason again. Right now, there is no trade talks because there is no trade movement right now. So
Yeah.
You know, this playoffs is very key for them. But I'm glad you talked about something I wanted to bring up that you mentioned Jason Hart closing games. You know, and I've also noticed that IQ has closed a lot of games. He's gone with IQ and Hart instead of Grimes and Barrett. Why do you think that?
It's another like point guard to have on the team, right? And he's a lot better shooter than RJ. Defensively, no, probably the same about as good as RJ defensively. That's sad to say about RJ. Um, Definitely Grimes is better defensively, but it's just another point guard who can read plays, um, kind of get guys moving and stuff like that, and just another shooter to have on the floor. And this is with or without Jalen Brunson. It wouldn't surprise me if he makes a starting lineup next year.
Talking about
Um,
IQ,
yeah, where
I don't think he will.
it's definitely a small ball, but
He deserves it.
I can see him, starting next to Jalen Brunson at least some games. Um,
I
but
I I think this is the lineup. Like this is it. Unless they get a better small forward, I think Grimes and Barrett's gonna start even next year. I think IQ and Hart are the backups. Um, I think maybe Obi leaves, but listen, I don't want to start kicking people out yet. You know, I want to see unity and I want to see the playoffs. So I'm excited. Um, it's about what is how many days left? April 9th, I think is the last game of the season. I'm thinking about going to the game to watch the Pacers. The only thing I don't know about that game is that who's gonna play at that point. You know, Pacers probably won't play anybody, and the Knicks might rest some guys if the game is meaningless. So I was thinking about going to that game, but you
I
know,
don't know. Knowing Tibbs, like,
he'll play 40 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if the game is to get to the fourth seed, he'll play them 40 minutes. He's crazy like that. You know, he's like you said. That was another point you said. He's different every coach. He plays his guys. Totally different than Tyrone Lue though. Tyrone benches everybody every game. Every other game, you got Kawhi in the bench. Like, what are we doing here? You
yeah.
know?
And what's interesting is like I know you're not crazy about him, but I've always liked him since he was with the Clippers last year. Hartenstein.
Yeah, that's not my boy.
Um, you know, those are guys that like you want to have that like really hustle and stuff like that. Um, and I'm just reading now on Hoops Hype that he would have taken the mid-level exception with the Clippers, which
You
is
want it to stay,
yeah. But they went after John Wall, and that obviously didn't pan out.
and then they're
Uh,
making a trade for Plumlee, and so they made the wrong move.
yep.
Listen, I'm not a big. You're right. I'm not a big Hardenstein fan. I wouldn't mind moving him at all. But in terms of, you're right. He's done well. He's done well. So I apologize. You know, I have a lot of apology to do this year, starting with Randall, starting with Thibodeau. I was ready to fire them all. You know, um, but I think it's very important what Jonathan Macri said the other day. I listened to a lot of his podcasts. I know you like Knicks Locked In, Alex Wolf and stuff, but or Gavin Shaw, I think his name is.
Yeah,
I
both
listened
of them.
to Macri, and he said this little 3 game losing streak, Knicks started already. The fans started going against Randall a little bit. We're not 100% over it. We're like 90%. We forgive him. We're happy with him, but we're still keeping an eye on him. We're still keeping, like you said, Randall gets into his little tantrums.
Right. And I
Oh,
think that's the problem, right? It's that he gets into these like fits where he kind of just shuts down. He has like no emotion. You can see that he's upset with himself, and it kind of brings the whole team down. So it's like if he could change that, it's like, yo, we understand not everyone's gonna have it. You're not gonna be doing these step back jumpers and making them in. I mean, even when he's hot, I'm like, man, that's a bad shot. Like you should have, passed the ball or something like that. But
yeah.
okay, you made it. Like it's cool, But come playoff time, you can't have that attitude because the fans are gonna eat you alive. The analysts are gonna eat you alive. You're gonna get blamed for the loss. It's not gonna be like, yo, Knicks played hard. the other team was just a little bit better. That's it. You get me? It's gonna be like what happened to Randall. He shut down. I mean, you could see it. Like even defensively, he just doesn't even try. He pulls the James Harden. He's like, oh, whatever. The
Yeah,
guy
you
beat
saw it
me. Easy layup.
the other day.
You know. And then he tries to call for the ball offensively, and just gets rattled up because now the other team sees it and they start doubling him, and he loses control of the ball, and it's an easy turnover. So he's really gotta be careful with that because, like I said, they're gonna eat him alive in the playoff time.
You're right. You're right. They're ready to talk to him. So before we leave, who do you want to face? Assuming we finish 4, 5, or 6, hopefully not 7th. Philly or Cleveland?
I want to play Cleveland.
Cleveland. Agree. I think everybody wants to play Cleveland. I mean, the super dream scenario would be that Cleveland falls to 6 and we go to 4th and Brooklyn finishes 5th, but that's probably not going to happen. But Cleveland, why Cleveland? Why not Philly?
I want Cleveland because I want to say like we didn't need you, Donovan Mitchell. You know,
What if the opposite happens? What
if
if
they
he
beat
beats
us,
us?
it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt
But let's be honest, they are a better team than us. So
slightly,
they
slightly.
they are they are favored
Yeah.
to win over us.
Mhm.
If we take them to a 7 game series and we lose down to the wire, I could be content with losing against them. But if we get blown out or it's like 4-1 or something like that, that's a problem.
Do you think
Offensively, they're great. Defensively,
yeah.
they need to.
Who Cleveland?
Yeah.
No, they're good defensively. They have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
got
have a
two.
good defense. Actually, one of the best teams in defense. Actually, we're one of the we're a top 10 team in defense. We're actually one of the best teams offensively. Top 5 net rating. So it's crazy. Since January 1st, we've been like a top 3, top 5 positive net rating when Brunson's on the floor. Top 3, top 5 team in the NBA when Brunson's on the floor. It's crazy to think that. But do you think Leon Rose is going to get some kind of whiplash if we lose to Cleveland? And you know why I'm saying that?
Yeah, because we didn't go after Donovan Mitchell. Um, yeah, people are gonna say like, he should have went after Donovan Mitchell harder. I don't know how much harder he could have gone, based off the trade rumors. It almost felt like we were giving up the house already for Donovan Mitchell. And I mean, these guys wanted like Grimes, RJ plus 4 or 5 picks,
Yeah.
you know, and like, yeah, okay, cool. With Donovan Mitchell, maybe we would have won 4 or 5 games more. Um, but once again, that's like giving up everything, the whole future. You're pretty much saying this is the guy that's going to take us all the way to the championship. Maybe not necessarily win it, but well, he'll take us all the way. And I don't believe that's the case. And I don't think Leon believed that was the case because I think he would have pulled the move. So I'm okay with what he's doing. We still have, assets. We still have picks that, you know, maybe we can get a Jimmy Butler. Maybe we can get a Paul George or something like that. Um, even though I wouldn't really want Paul George unless if it's like really, really cheap. Um, but there's still players out there that you don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
we would have never thought that Kevin Durant was going to leave the Nets at the beginning of the season.
You're right. You're right.
Um, and look at that. They just traded him and things
Well, actually,
change.
he did ask to leave at the beginning of the season.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah. So last
But I
season, we
didn't
would
I
have never
didn't
thought
I didn't think that the Nets would pull the trigger, honestly,
either. I said I didn't think so either.
because they still had like 4 or 5 years still left in his contract. So I was
Yeah,
like,
they
oh,
just signed him to an extension.
yeah.
It's crazy. He didn't have to, but he was going to be, disgruntled and not play. You know how they are. But we'll talk about that. We'll see what happens. Man, it'll be perfect if we beat Cleveland. If we beat Cleveland, it'll be almost like a perfect year. It'll be so nice to shove it in everyone's face, all the critics that they hate on Leon Rose, who's built such a magnificent team, who's done so well, man. And we'll get into Leon Rose later on during the season, probably after the season because there's no point right now. Props to the Knicks. We're gonna have to let you go. We both gotta. I think Kenny has to go to work. I don't. Thank God.
Yeah,
Everyone will be back for the Yankees. I'm excited for that too. Got a lot to talk about, especially with the spring training. Team USA. Did you see the game last night?
I did not.
They whooped their beep. The first inning was like 9 runs. We scored. USA
Oh,
beat
you're talking
Canada.
about the class. Well,
Yeah,
when
we're
you
both
said
for the
like we
classic.
lost to Mexico, I was thinking like
We
World Cup
lost
or
to
something.
Mexico. No. I mean, yeah, I went from one topic to another, but yeah, I was watching a little bit. It was we poured it on them. Our pitching staff's a little weak. But we'll talk about that next time. Uh, for now, guys, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully, we continue. Hopefully, next time we talk about the Knicks, it's like another winning streak. But any last words, Kenny?
No, let's go Knicks.
Yeah, let's have
That's
fun,
it.
man. This is nice. Let's go Knicks, baby. All right, brother, man. Everyone have a good one. Thank you for joining us and press the like button.